What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, are we getting ready to see some major poly tricks in the sport of boxing once again? That's the way it's looking. Like, we getting ready to get some major poly tricks in the sport of boxing. After the showdown last night in the UK between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr., the family rivalry resumed, with Conor Benn now beating Chris Eubank Jr. in the rematch. And now they're 1-1. Chris Eubank won the first fight. Conor Benn won the second fight in more dramatic fashion. Conor Benn did, right? Both fights actually lived up to the hype, though. They both lived up to the hype. Both fights lived up to the hype, right? But Conor Benn is now planning to drop to welterweight, right? And he wants to fight for... He called out Mario Barrios, the WBC welterweight world champion, right? But Eddie Hearn is saying that Conor Benn is going to push for the winner of next Saturday's welterweight WBO showdown between Devin the Dream Haney and Brian Norman Jr. Conor Benn is not in the top 10 of those ranking systems. In the WBC, he's number 4, right? In the WBC, excuse me, I got something in my eye, man. In the WBC, he's ranked number 4, right? So it makes sense that he called out Mario Barrios. But Mario Barrios, who's the WBC welterweight champion with a record of 29 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, is in negotiation to finalize a deal to fight Ryan Garcia, right? So Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios are getting ready to fight. The fight to be made, if you're Conor Benn, he says he wants to fight the winner of Devin Haney, Brian Norman, right? Now, he could go the IBF route and fight Crocker, right? He could fight Louis Crocker, who's 22 wins, no loss, no draw. And out the UK, that would make Conor Benn an official world champion. But here's the thing about Conor Benn. He just had, his last 5 fights was outside of welterweight. And he just had 2 fights at 160. Conor Benn does not want to fight for that IBF title. Remember, Kell Brook did it. That made him a champion after he beat Sean Porter. Conor Benn doesn't want to do it, right? Because they have that 10-pound rehydration clause. Conor Benn is not interested in doing that 10-pound rehydration clause. As a matter of fact, most fighters at the highest level are not interested in fighting for the IBF because of that 10-pound next day rehydration clause. They want to rehydrate until they can't rehydrate no more. They don't want no limits. So Louis Crocker makes sense because he's the IBF welterweight champion, but he don't want that rehydration clause. See, they'll go for the IBF title once the IBF title is in a unification bout with another champion, and that eliminates the 10-pound rehydration clause. So if you're Conor Benn, what you should be pushing for, right? Again, Eddie Hearn says that they're going to go the route of fighting the winner, Devin Haney, Brian Norman. They fight next Saturday. That makes sense, but he's not in the top 10 in their ranking system. What he should do is, there's conversations that the WBA champion, Rolando Rolly Romero, is going to fight Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, but he also has a mandatory that he has to settle, right? If you're Conor Benn, push to see if you can get the Manny Pacquiao fight. Now, I don't know if Manny Pacquiao will take it because Manny Pacquiao is looking for a world title. He's looking for a world title. But if you Conor Benn, at this point, at this stage, right, you got to, that win over Chris Eubank Jr. was massive, and it might push him. Well, I'm not even going to say it might. It will push him ahead of the line because that's the poly tricks you play in the sport of boxing. They don't mind playing those tricks. So with that said, it's going to be interesting, man. I like the fact that Conor Benn is going to 147. It just, the more players in the division, the more exciting it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Where does he end up and how does he end up? We don't know. But I love the fact that he's dropping back down to welterweight and going to compete at welterweight. I love that. I love the idea of it. I love the notion of it, right? Just what direction. If he fights the winner, Devin Haney, Brian Norman, I love that fight. If he fights the winner, Ryan Garcia, Mario Barrios, I love that fight. And if he fights Rolando Rolly Romero, I love that fight. So whatever direction he chooses to go in, I love it all. But he's going to try to jump the line ahead of guys like Alexis Roca. Those are fights he should take. In my opinion, he should fight Alexis Roca. Another fight, he could fight Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall, I believe, is ranked in the WBO, right? He's ranked number 8 in the WBO, Jack Catterall. So fight Jack Catterall next, and then you make yourself the mandatory for Devin Haney, Brian Norman. Makes sense. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out, man. But let me know what y'all think. Who do y'all think he should fight next? Should he just wait and fight for the title? Should he be allowed to just jump ahead and fight for the title? Let me know what y'all think. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.